Hey everybody, this is Brianna Nazens, and I'm going to be presenting you Why a Map from Chapter 5, Drawing a Theory of Action in Sagor 2010 from page 71 to 73. Okay, so I thought I'd start by reading a little quote that was on page 71 that said, "The map is the lifeline of the explorer." So basically, this little part of the chapter talked about how, as action researchers, we're basically academic explorers in a way. As action researchers, we can imagine ourselves as a world explorer like Christopher Columbus, which we'll get to later. And an important part of research is adding your takeaways from the research to add to the wealth of research previously acquired by other researchers, just like how maps have been created over hundreds of years. It's pretty amazing, actually. Okay, so like I was saying, we have to combine our experience that we're gaining through research with the experience of others, or we can take away experience of others to help us create our own map, but it's still an important process into doing this. Okay, so the book talked a little bit about this, and I'm sure you all know what phase solidity is, but I thought I would go back and talk about it for a minute. Basically, so preparing a map allows us to venture out on topics that haven't been explored much, and basically we want our maps to be clear and accurate looking, which is face validity. It's just a judgment call, and maybe not the best way to judge validity, but it sure gives that appearance, and it allows the researcher to go into their research with a lot of confidence and purpose. And we have to remember when creating our map that it needs to represent what we're looking for at the end of our research and during our research so that this face validity remains. Okay, so I think honestly, kind of like the main story that was going on in this chapter was the author trying to tie back action research mapping to, mapping of the old days, which he used the story of Christopher Columbus in a modern day setting. He said he imagined that, Christopher Columbus was an ambitious teacher who woke up with a great idea and did some research and developed what he thought was a good idea and a theory that he was going to share with his administrator. And, basically he tied it back to Columbus having to go to Ferdinand and Isabella to ask if he could travel the ocean to reach the Americas. And it's a pretty fascinating way to tie this in, but basically he saw that Columbus, as one of the first action researchers, he followed the steps of having an idea, doing your research, hypothesizing, giving sound reasoning, getting reviewed, and showing this map, which, by the way, is a map by Henricus Martellus from 1485, which was 7 years before Columbus's voyage. This is probably a map that they think he may have used to show the king and queen where he was going and maybe what he thought he was doing, since he knew the earth was round and knew the certain travels of Marco Polo, that, he could recreate the same path and go on his venture. Okay, so basically next we're going to talk about creating our map for success. Much like the Columbus example, we can map out our plan of research and allow it to guide us to our final research destination. We can always refer back to it when we need and can feel free to add to it as we learn, as we know that maps have been and always will be edited to show what is true and what has changed. So we can use our map as our own little guidebook and basically to help us. This is all for us and to show other people what we're doing, and can, show them our purpose and our method of research and exploration, and honestly why we're doing this in a visual way that's easier to understand than a whole bunch of, scientific speak that they really might not understand. Okay, so I know that was really short, but honestly, the section of the textbook was pretty short, so I'm going to go ahead and ask the discussion questions. Why do you think that it's a good idea to create a map for research success? And how do you feel about the face validity that maps can give and their true effectiveness on research validity and focus? Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have in the comment section on ELC. Bye!